In the hyper-connected world, I really see that there are two approaches to selling. One is what I call being a gate crasher, and the other is what I call being a sales Sherpa. Now, the gate crasher is really a legacy from a sales culture that we've been in for the last 20 or 30 years. It was a sales culture that was based on attack, attacking the phones, attacking our prospects, attacking their objections. It was very aggressive. It was what I call the cult of hustle, right? And there had to be this kind of aggressiveness because it was all about brute force. And it was about interrupting a prospect and getting their attention and telling them why you were the best and getting them to pay attention to you. What we've really seen is that that doesn't work anymore. Basically because we don't have the attention for it. On the customer side, we have so many things battling for our attention that if you try to attack somebody, it just doesn't work. So what I really see is what I call the sales Sherpa role becoming more and more prominent and more important. And a lot of the reason why it's successful is because it's about starting a sales conversation before the prospect is even really a prospect. It's about starting a conversation with somebody on a human level about saying, hey, you might not need what I have right now, but let me build a relationship with you. Let me plant a flag in your mind that I'm an expert in what I do. And then when you are ready for help in this area, I want to be the person that you reach out to. So instead of being the gate crasher and trying to break down that gate, it's really about getting inside the castle before somebody even knows that they need you, so that when they do have a need, they just look next to them and go, oh, can you help me with this? That's really the goal of the sales Sherpa in the hyper-connected environment. So how does an experienced financial professional, somebody who has come up in an environment that is really all about this short-term, tactical, aggressive outreach, how do they start to embrace the long-term value of building sales relationships? The first thing is that they actually have to embrace the mentality of it, right? If they don't understand why they're doing it, it's going to be hollow. The first step is understanding that the mentality is important. They have to have value for it. If they are just trying to, let's say, do some social media outreach because they heard they were supposed to, it's not going to work. So they have to understand the value of these long-term relationships. From that point, they can then look tactically at how they put some of these long-term activities into their schedule. And it can be as simple as putting in some relationship building into their schedule on a daily basis or a weekly basis, whether that's in-person outreach, whether that's using some of these social media tools that are available, or whether it's going to their existing network and their existing customers and asking for referrals and building deeper relationships and just moving what they have beyond the transactional and into the relational. There are a lot of ways to use technology to scale your reach. Technology has really been the impetus for this evolution into the hyper-connected world, but it can also really be an amazing asset. There's a couple places that you need to start, and the first is actually doing a quick Google search and seeing what comes up. One of the first things that will happen is you'll find your LinkedIn profile. We live in a digital forward world. People can look us up before they ever meet us, before they decide whether or not they want to meet us. So looking at your LinkedIn profile and going, hey, is this the information that I want to share? Is it clear? Is it understandable to somebody who doesn't live in my brain, which is often the trouble we have. But then looking beyond even that LinkedIn profile and finding out, are there company websites with an About Us page that list information about me? Is there a Twitter bio? Is there an article that was written in an association blog or on another blog about me? What is out there already? What can people consume? And make sure that, again, you can control what people think, but you can control the message that you're putting out. So that's the first place. The second is then to build a network online, one that really mirrors your offline network. I think a good place to do this is LinkedIn. It's right now kind of an accepted professional platform. But imagine having 300, 400, 500, or even more people connected to you there. Having that relationship, that foundation is the first step. Then you can really look at using some of these tools for scalable outreach, right? When you post something on LinkedIn, it takes you 2 or 3 minutes to share a picture of you at a conference, or talk about a recent success, or recommend a book that you've just read, or even to talk about an article you just read. It takes 2 or 3 minutes, but that can go to hundreds of people. It's really a force multiplier. So those are just some very simple ways that you can use technology to start scaling the interactions you have. Now, those won't make anybody your best friend, but they will move the conversation along, and it'll allow you to have a better offline conversation the next time you do. One of the simplest places to start using technology is in sharing your personal brand. And we have to understand that we have a personal brand. We have a way that people see us, even before we've ever met them. Whether we like it or not, we live in a digital forward world, and our digital presence precedes us. So using social media, whether that is LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or Pinterest or whatever app that comes out that hasn't even been invented yet, we have to understand that people are going there, they are looking for us, and they're making decisions and judgments about us based on what they find or don't find. And so it's really worth spending some time thinking about what the message is that we want to share, thinking about what our audience needs to hear from us, and putting the time in to really create that message on those digital platforms, because then we can sit back after we've done that and let them do a lot of the work for us.